back to the Foreign Report, your weekly foreign policy show that gives you the gory details of geopolitics with hopefully some, oh God, sweet Jesus, I hope we got some laughs today, Travis.
Man, I got nothing but chuckles in the bank.
I'm Cena Gadsby, your foreign policy curious host and co-host, comedian, director, Columbia Journalism School graduate, Travis Irvine.
Today I'm fully company man, Cena.
Yeah.
My Henry Zabrowski approved hat, my Smodcast Film Festival t-shirt.
Oh my God.
Ed Larson and I are documentary playing there in Kevin Smith's Film Festival. And look at this, an official LPN jacket.
Total cost for this outfit for Travis?
$0. No, I think I did have to buy this shirt. And I had to go to New Jersey to get it. So
that's
Lord knows that adds
we're up
up.
to Gucci now.
Yeah.
Listen, sign up for our newsletter at foreignreportshow.com. We put out a little blurb about the show, but also you get a little bit of a Cena corner, a little bit of a Travis corner every week. Sign up so we get your email, so we could grab you and then email you things. We're going to do some more
once
stuff.
a week, though,
once
right?
a week. Once a week.
That's it.
theforeignreportlpn@gmail.com. That's the email. Send us an email. Record your voice. Send us a question. We would love to hear it, to answer it. I've seen some really long emails that have come through. They are very fun reads, very introspective.
Okay.
I fell asleep once, maybe twice during it, but it was great.
During an email?
Yeah, dude. It was
Man.
long. It was long. Big ups to you know who you are. You know who you are. Sending those long emails. I appreciate it, though. I like it. I love to learn. Guys, if you are wondering if we're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk today, we are not. We talked about it on our YouTube channel last night.
Yes.
So please go there if you want to see us talk about Charlie Kirk and his killing and the murder. And it's awful. But yeah, we're gonna stick to our show here today. But we wanted to make sure that we commented on something that was pretty important that does relate to our show. But at the same time, it was a big news week, and there's a lot I think that's important for everyone to hear and cover.
Yes, domestic policy is foreign policy, but we do try to stick to the foreign policy here.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone, by the way, who came out to our comedy show in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
I was opening for Ed Larson, friend of the show, over from last podcast on the left and brighter side. And I really want to say thanks to all the listeners who are listening to this show and gave me such great compliments. And they said, you're fantastic too, Cena.
Oh, my God.
You're very
Stop
smart.
it.
Yes. So
Stop.
It's fun. I know you don't like to read the comments. But when the comments are said by real people to your face while they're buying your merch in Cincinnati,
Oh, that's great.
That was very nice. So thanks to
Well, thank
everyone
you.
who came to the show in Cincy.
Nice things. Anyways, Trump is the peacetime president, Travis.
That's what I heard. No wars. I solved 7 wars this morning. I took a dump and there's 1 war done in my belly.
If you were wondering, is Trump the most peaceful president ever?
I don't know about that.
We're going to break it down and know how that's not the case.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any president who's the most peaceful president ever. Calvin Coolidge? He didn't do anything.
Well, let's start with just the big thing that he did,
Yes.
a rebrand.
Oh, good.
Department of Defense is now Department of War.
Peacetime. Nothing says peacetime like war.
Oh, my God.
You're talking the band, right? The band War. They were fantastic.
Yeah, they were. What song did they do?
Erica Burden, and they did Spill the Wine.
Oh.
Yeah, that song. But they were called War.
Yeah. I think it was ironic, right?
Yeah, that was the whole point. This is Eric Burden of the Animals, and he went and started a new band. He's like, I'm calling it War. But then it's like, our songs are fun.
Oh, that's cute. See, irony, folks. I don't think the president had irony in mind, though.
No.
I don't think he said,
Iron Fist.
I don't think
Can
he
we
said-
talk about my Iron Fist? That's how I rule.
I'm so peaceful. Let's make it.
Department of War.
Pete Hegseth, his now war secretary,
Bizarre.
he's all in. He called it part of a new, quote, warrior ethos at the Pentagon, saying, quote, we're going to go on offense, not just on defense, maximum lethality, not tepid legality.
Yeah. Okay.
Just not following the law, I guess. Violent effect,
Right.
not political correctness. This War Department, Mr. President, just like America, is back. Great.
Okay.
How many killings every day?
So historically, it was the War Department, Department of War, and we used to have a Secretary of War from like 17 something all the way until World War II, and then after we helped the world win World War II and defeat the bad guys, that's when Harry Truman was like, maybe we don't call it war anymore.
Exactly. They were saying, hey, we don't need to go back to this carnage. And they called it something specifically at first. They called it because they grouped in the Air Force there. And after World War II, they called it the National Military Establishment.
Ooh.
But when you say the initials,
National Military Establishment. NME?
Say it real fast.
Enemy. I don't want to be the enemy. I want to be my friends.
That worked so well. Thank you.
Yeah, you got me good. It's a good thing I can't read letters.
So I'm sure there was a meeting in 1949 or, right before that. They were just like, hey, who decided this? We got to change it. So they changed it to the Department of Defense.
DOD.
And that made sense, is to emphasize deterrence.
Right.
And cooperation. And I think we're at a place right now where everyone's calling the president Taco.
Okay.
I
forgot about that already, but yes, you're correct.
And I think he's just trying to be aggressive. And then we also saw this, aggressive move recently around the war on drugs.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Season 5 of Fraudsters, if you checked it out, we did the whole thing on the war on drugs. And this is the war that has no end.
Right.
That has no specific enemy.
I've been to Bonnaroo. I think we're losing the war on drugs real bad. I think we're getting our asses kicked, man.
You go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Is marijuana a drug even still? You go to New York City, the whole city smells like weed.
Half of the United States has legalized for medical or recreational at this point.
Well, a Venezuelan boat was recently smuggling, apparently.
Allegedly. We don't know what they were doing.
Smuggling drugs, and we're going to get to this here, why this is absurd that they did this.
Let's say they were smuggling drugs.
Let's say they were the least efficient drug smugglers in the history of drug smuggling, where they had basically a boat full of people smuggling drugs.
Right. I've seen better drug smugglers on boats in Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Off the coast of Ashtabula, Ohio.
And they were just
It's a guy with a bunch of drugs.
And they were just trying to go from Pennsylvania to Ohio.
Right. Exactly. 11 people? That's how many you need to for this operation?
It's the stupidest thing. And they drone struck the boat, killing all the people. Now, you're probably wondering, where's their due process? Surely there was due process. Were there international laws that our government followed? Like the United Nations Conventions on the Law of Sea? Surely.
I'm going to say, oh no. I don't know if they did all that.
They didn't do anything. They just blew it up.
Man,
and
nothing.
They were saying, this is Venezuelans. They're using whatever emergency powers that they've made up or whatever. They call it a war, which is why they used a drone strike through the military instead of arresting these people. And even if you didn't want to go in there and grab them, you still could have at least done some legwork of saying, okay, here's a spy drone where we know we've tracked the boat from X to Y, where they loaded up a ton of drugs. And I don't know if there's a lot of drug smugglers out there. I don't want to make any assumptions. But if you were a drug smuggler,
let's just say
if you would want to maximize the amount of drugs on the boat.
Right. Not shove 11 people on there. Unless they had the drugs.
If
they got the drugs inside. Yes, I'm talking.
Oh, God.
Any experienced drug smuggler knows. Not me, though, of course.
And I don't know if this was some sort of signal to send to Venezuela or to the cartels. But this was like, in Hegseth's view, the warrior move. But was it a warrior that pulled the trigger? Or was it, a guy who just got done playing 80 hours of Call of Duty that was at the drone?
Right.
Was it Jason Statham behind the joystick?
Man, no, that would be pretty cool. But Jason Statham, from all the movies, he goes and kicks everyone's ass himself.
And you know what
he would parachute down.
Watch this.
He'd be like, oh, I'm Jason Statham. I'm a working man.
You want to see what a drug smuggler actually does? In 2019, I don't know if you remember this story, but these smugglers, they made a submarine to smuggle drugs. Look at this.
Whoa. Whoa.
This is he's
yelling at-
tracking a submarine, screaming at him. I think this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's not a boat, and they also probably can't hear you down there.
It's gonna be hard to board that moving submarine. Alto su barco.
Man.
There's nothing funnier than a Marine screaming Spanish. Look at these
they're
guys.
riding it now.
They're riding. They're in it. He's pounding on the top of this submarine. This honestly, this is the most badass thing you could possibly
This
do.
is Jason Statham worthy.
This is Jason Statham. Look at
I'm a working man.
he just broke this thing open. He's now grabbing the guy that's in there, who's like, I can't believe I just got busted.
Those are drug smugglers. Right
Those
there.
are drug smugglers.
And that is a proper way to do it.
That is toughness. You want to talk about the warrior ethos? That's a warrior. That's a warrior.
2019. That was Trump's first administration.
They literally did the most cowardly possible thing you could do.
Just keep doing it that way. God, man. So yeah, no due process. 11 people are dead. What have they been doing with Venezuela? They're calling it narco terrorism, and they have like a $15 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head, the president of Venezuela right now.
And then just today, I read a quick thing where Trump is planning on potentially attacking Venezuela in some way. We'll find out more about that. That might have just been a quick thing a quip that he just said. But I think what's more instructive here is that this man keeps saying he's full of peace, and he has always been about peace and not going into wars.
And then he does things like this.
But then Department of War,
right?
And then blowing up a boat of civilians with no due process. Here's another story that came from 2019, actually. Reporters, this was actually during Trump's first term, it was David Phillips and Matthew Cole revealed that a covert strike from Trump's first term, where he authorized a Navy SEAL mission to plant electronic devices near North Korea's shore.
I did read about this. Bonkers that this story came out right on the heels of this entire Venezuelan boat episode.
So these Navy SEALs go to do this very, very important mission.
Mm-hmm. Very secret.
Very secret.
Congress didn't know about it.
They do the whole movie thing where they're like in water and they're like coming out of water. And then a boat approaches and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do?
Did they yell in Spanish at it?
And they were like,
you're in North Korea.
Alto su barco!
I think this will work. Keep yelling, Tom.
There's this, I don't know if have you seen Narcos?
No, man, I can't. This show, Breaking Bad gave me too much anxiety, so I can't handle The Shield. I can't handle Narcos. I can't handle The Wire. I can't handle those shows.
There is this incredible scene in Narcos. This one guy, I can't remember his name. He's a great actor, but he's running in, and he's like an American DEA agent. And instead of saying like "put your hands up," he's speaking in Spanish, but he's like "Mano Sariba." Mano Sariba.
It's like Brad Pitt's character trying to speak Italian in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Si, grazie.
So this guy, Alto Subarco, but these I don't think these Navy SEALs said anything. They just opened fire.
Oh, man.
On this local fisherman boat.
So this is just literally wrong place, wrong time.
Not only did they open fire on, they punctured their lungs with knives so that the bodies would sink. They abandoned the mission and then, called it a day.
That's terrifying.
Here's the other thing. Again, peacetime president. Congress was never notified. You usually have this gang of 8 that gets all like the good tea.
Right. You chop leaders in your Senate of
they
both
didn't get
parties.
Anything. Yeah. So this is like the most risky spy operation you could possibly imagine. It went worse than you could possibly imagine.
It went very bad.
He didn't disclose it to the one group that's also allowed to keep a secret. That you're allowed to make it a secret meeting with the gang of 8. It's just they know. And so that's the transparency. And then when he was asked about it, Trump was questioned in the Oval Office.
This week, when the story broke.
Yeah, about the botched operation, which he had reportedly approved. On the same day as the breaking news, the reporter said, "Can you say if the administration has engaged with North Korea on that incident?" Trump, "I don't know anything about it."
I don't know anything about it.
Reporter, "Can you confirm that it happened?"
I'm hearing it now for the first time.
Buddy, you greenlit the operation.
I don't know what a green light is. I don't drive.
So, constant issues that were happening abroad that then ruin us at home.
I do believe that he doesn't remember. I think he's like, he's got the attention span of a gnat. I think you've said that on this show. I think he like literally probably was like golfing and they're like, you want to do this thing? He's like, let's go. And he's, I love a good green. Let's go to the green. And then he's like, he's giving it the green. Let's do it. That's literally how this administration, first or second, works.
So that was like a little moose-boosh of what the whole I'm a peacetime president.
Department of War.
God, what a mess. By the way, we didn't even really talk much about this part of it, though. It's going to cost like $1 billion. They're going to say they're going to keep the cost down, but it's not just the one sign that they did a press release on or they like shot the video for. What's going to happen is that every military base, and what, do we have like one military base abroad? 2, 3? We have hundreds of bases.
Right.
Okay? So all of those will have to have name changes. All the ships or anything, any stationary.
The training camps.
The little tchotchkes you get at the gift shop. They're all going to have to change.
I love my tchotchkes.
Everything, the pencils with the engraved on
no. And by the way,
stress balls.
And everything in the Department of Defense costs way more than free market prices. My friend, this was during the first Iraq War. I had a friend from high school who joined the military post 9/11, fittingly, for today when we're recording on 9/11. And he remembers, he told me, he came back, he told me, he's like, it's $125 per hammer.
Yep.
Like we buy hammers, and because you want the best hammer, these hammers can't fail, so you're buying $125 hammers. And that's how it is for every single cost in the military.
And there is going to be a branding agency that's going to come in and say, we're happy to change those logos for you. We'll take $750 million.
Right. We're going to make the font, instead of Times New Roman, we're going with copper plate. And
are you kidding?
It's very 2010.
This is a wingdings administration.
Wings dings. Man, I love me some wings and dings.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about these somewhat deadly protests very deadly protests in Nepal. Israel bombed Qatar. I don't know. That's like that is going down the list.
So we're gonna do around the grounds.
Except
it's all terrible news.
Poland is shooting down Russian drones.
I saw that.
And then we'll try to get to JD. I don't even know if we're gonna get to JD.
We have to get to JD just to have some levity.
Oh God, we're doing great so far.
So far, pretty good.
This is the Foreign Report.
I love a good wings dings reference.
We'll be right back after this.
All right, give me the bad news. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Cena Gadsby. Travis Irvine is here with us. We're going to talk about some more global news that is happening that we think is important for you to know.
Yeah, this is what we call around the grounds, except it's around the world and it's all terrible news.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what we need to start reporting on, I think?
Reporting.
We're not journalists. Maybe.
I technically have a degree. Is this journalism?
This is the
me
question.
Reacting to what you say?
People...
I'm still paying for this degree, so.
Oh, man. I don't know. I think that's a broader question. Maybe we should have a salon and talk about it.
Hey, Wind Down Fridays. The fans are demanding it, and we will give it to them at some point.
I think Wind Down Fridays, but maybe also like Manic Morning
Manic Mondays?
Mondays.
Where we just drink Celsiuses and coffee at the same time.
Oh, my God.
Just really.
Call it a hot rod.
Oh. Man, that sounds like a terrible idea. Count me in.
Okay, Nepal. You guys know about it?
I do know Nepal. We have Nepalese refugees in central Ohio, a good population of them. They make incredible food. And it's a very tragic situation with how these people became refugees and came to America, but I think we're going to jump into it. Nepal it's geographically in between India and China.
Yes.
Which you can imagine already. Those are your neighbors. Good luck.
Everything is totally fine.
Yeah.
Long simmering frustrations over corruption and economic inequality erupted into violence this week after the Nepalese government issued a ban of 26 social media platforms.
I didn't even know there were that many. Hold on. How many do I have on my phone?
Is that Snapchat? That included YouTube and WhatsApp. I guess they counted WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's social media, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a platform.
So there was this hashtag that was going around for weeks called hashtag Nepo Kids.
Okay, here in Hollywood, that means something else.
That means totally. So that means like you have
Colin Hanks, you get a job because your dad's Tom Hanks?
Exactly.
You're a Nepo kid.
God, I hope my kids become Nepo kids. But in Nepal, it's, very bad. And they were highlighting the lavish lifestyles of those in power.
Oh.
And it had been trending on social media. And when the ban was announced, the Nepalese citizens, largely young adults and teenagers, took to the streets, converging on government buildings and private residences of officials. So they were all over town. Buildings, homes were set on fire. They were destroyed. Government security forces were deployed. The protests continued even after the prime minister resigned and the ban was lifted. But over 30 people had been killed, at least 19 of them by government security forces.
Yikes.
The violence is now abated, but the situation is it's very...
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's very chaotic.
I've
there.
never heard of a prime minister resigning over a hashtag.
I think it was a...
I mean, I already find that pretty impressive by these young people. But yeah, of course, like in any scenario where that happens, in any country around the world, your government security forces are going to crack down.
And I think when things like this happen, and I don't know, when I see something like this, right, I think about that. We've talked about that Ray Dalio kind of like the arc of how an empire rises and falls. And I think when you have rampant wealth inequality, the causes are there for it to happen.
Right.
So it's not that it should happen. There's no judgment here. But we have to be rational people and say, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
When you push people economically to the edge and then you take away their ability to communicate with each other.
Right. Not good.
And then you're going to get a snapback like that. So something to look out for, frankly. I think, I'm not saying this is going to happen in America by any means, but I think these are elements that we see abroad that we can see seeds of here.
I also just want to point out, when anytime you say, I don't know if this is going to happen in America, it happens in America. So you be careful with your words, sir. Don't you put that in a hashtag.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're seeing is like people are just going to try to like put a new face on what's happening over
The old
there.
regime.
Yeah.
The new boss is the same as the old boss.
Right.
Okay. Well,
All right.
We'll keep our eyes in Nepal.
We'll keep our eye on it. Israel.
Never heard of it.
I guess there's a big question here, and in a situation that we really couldn't think that would get much worse. Israel bombed Doha in Qatar, and it's another sign that...
Can you explain to, not me, of course, but the people out there who don't know, what is Qatar? They were the ones who gave Trump that big old jet.
Well, they're the ones that gave Trump the big old jet. They've also been the mediators
Yes.
for between Israel and Hamas, and that is and the U.S. actually. The U.S. is actually dealing directly with Hamas, not even Israel, really. At the end of the day,
And Qatar also hosted the World Cup in 2022.
and I think exactly right. I think
Because they bribed everyone in FIFA.
the broader they had those indentured servants there too.
Building the stadiums in the deserts. Yes.
It was crazy.
Okay, so not great for Qatar, but also we could argue a neutral party. And you're saying, as of now, Israel has started bombing them?
So they attacked, presumably or allegedly, they attacked a Hamas leadership group in Doha,
Okay.
which they were literally invited to go there. And I want to just,
no.
for the people there, yes, I just told you what happened that you probably saw everywhere. But this is the thing that I think is important to remember.
Okay.
The Hamas delegation there and them being in Qatar, not only was it the United States and Israel saying, go to Qatar and let's negotiate, not only was it inviting, but that is where the political solution for this war is.
Right.
And if the thing that we don't talk about at all, we talk about the military campaign and cleansing and the genocide, but we don't talk, and they talk about the military victory of getting the hostages and prisoners back from Hamas, and then the prisoner exchange and the hostage exchange, and then like leveling and all this military occupation stuff we talk about, the military victory. but we never hear about the political one. We hear about negotiations that never really end up going anywhere. There was like a brief ceasefire for like 5 seconds. Anyways,
Right.
the political solution is the whole thing. That's the whole ball game. And to say the attack was a surprise is an understatement.
Right.
Because Israel and the U.S., they literally asked Qatar to host the Hamas delegation in the first place. Because that is where the political solution was going to come.
You're inviting them to the negotiating table.
Yes.
And then what did you do to the table?
Well, you blew up the table.
That's a bit much.
It's a bit. You invited us for dinner?
Right.
And you did this?
And yeah.
Let me go to this clip from Mehdi Hassan and Zateo, the good people over there.
Till this afternoon, I thought it was completely unthinkable for Israel to even consider attacking Doha, for the precise reason that it is Netanyahu, it is the Israelis and the Americans that asked Qatar to host Hamas in the first place. Yep. You might recall Antony Blinken refused Qatar's request after October 7th to ask Hamas to leave Doha. Hamas was asked to leave Doha in November last year, but the Qatari government, when they announced suspending Hamas's office there and suspending their mediation role because they saw negotiations were going out in completely in nowhere, and Israel was using negotiations basically as cover to buy time for genocide, and Hamas's leaders left the country at the time. I was there when Trump asked Qatar to bring them all back to Doha again. The entire leadership were re-invited to Doha in early December. So basically, Hamas for this whole time were told that operating in Doha, a political office, a mediation office, is coming with a solid guarantee that Israel would never attack you here. This was an American-Israeli guarantee in the first place. And what you see Netanyahu doing is doing three things simultaneously: ensuring the destruction of the annihilation of the largest urban space in the Gaza Strip, Gaza City at the moment, and at the same time attacking any solidarity activists in those flotilla that are trying to prevent the physical destruction, the annihilation of Gaza City, and attacking any diplomatic prospect for saving Gaza City from full annihilation. So he managed to do this outstandingly today, bringing the negotiations to a halt. Qatar announced that it would suspend its role, and there's no incentive for Hamas to be there anymore and engage in those talks when they're just there in a death trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
yeah, again, as you said earlier, Qatar, they gave him a plane.
Right. They gave Trump a plane.
And then the White House spokesperson, Carolyn Leavitt, said Trump, quote, feels very badly about the location of this attack.
Oh, well, at least he feels badly.
Bro, you blessed the attack.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's a shame. That's a shame.
That's bonkers. I mean, I understand Hamas, like they're clearly, the leadership especially, not good people. But I mean, yeah, down to there's no incentive to come to a negotiating table whatsoever.
Yeah.
If you're going to blow it up. And it's going to be in what is supposed to be a neutral country.
This goes back to what we've been saying, is that Netanyahu and the extremists within his government do not want to end the war. If you look at surveys in Israel and polls, which are very conflicting, which are strange.
Right.
There's like 80% of the people in Israel are like, you got to level Gaza Strip, got to wipe out the whole thing.
Yeesh.
And then 80% are also like, what's the best solution? A two-state solution.
Wait a minute.
But who's in that other state if there's no one there?
This is two different things from 80%.
Exactly.
That's 160% of the people?
So, and forgive me if the number's wrong, but it's an overwhelming majority feel in these conflicting ways, right? And so you have a situation where the extremist government in Israel is basically saying, we definitely don't want a political solution. We don't even want to get close to a political solution until we have done a complete conquering, a complete wiping out of the military operation.
Which is Hamas.
Which is innocent people in Palestine, which is the entire Gaza Strip, which will also probably include the West Bank and annexing it as well.
And I believe I sent you this story on Instagram, but were they not dropping leaflets all over Gaza as well, saying it would be in your interest to leave soon? Go. That's bonkers.
And it's like, well, I mean, you get the leaflet, you're like, sure?
I mean, at this point,
I mean, where am I supposed to go?
yeah, where am I supposed to go?
You guys got an Airbnb for me? What is going on?
Can this leaflet just be food?
If I go, yeah, could I? If it is an Airbnb that you want me to go to, can you please not bunker busting bomb that place?
So Israel's throwing the rules out on purpose because they don't care about the game anymore.
Exactly.
This is like Walter's, the John Goodman character from Big Lebowski. Am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules?
In 1932 in Ukraine, and I wrote this in our newsletter, I think last week or the week before, the Soviet Stalin, administration there, he caused a famine in Ukraine in 1932 there, and they made a famine. And then they told everyone there was no famine.
Oh.
They told everyone that and they had internal security checkpoints and passporting and everything like that.
Stalin.
And he wiped out.
History remembers Stalin very well,
Very
right?
well. Great guy.
Great guy, pretty sure.
But here's the thing. No one, and millions of people died. They actually, the final tally is like anywhere between 3 and 7 million. They don't even know how many people because for 50 years,
right.
They were able to control the narrative of who understood or who knew any information about it.
About the giant famine.
My thought is that Bibi is trying to finish this as quickly as possible so they can move on to controlling the narrative. But the problem is, we have millions of hours of photos and videos.
Right. This ain't 1932.
You can't forget anymore.
No.
And so people are not going to disremember.
Right.
Which is not a word.
Unremember?
Nadir Hashemi, who teaches Middle Eastern politics at Washington's Georgetown University, put it very succinctly. Quote, "You have a diplomatic settlement that calls for a ceasefire, an exchange of hostages that doesn't advance that broader goal that Netanyahu is clearly committed to, so you kill the peace negotiators."
Man.
And again, we are not pro-Hamas, okay? This isn't us. We are just telling you this is a mess, and there are people that don't want this to end.
Wow.
Okay?
Because they want to stay in power.
And then Bernie Sanders called it a clear violation of international law. Great. Chuck Schumer expressed concern. Oh, dear. I mean, Republicans support Jim Risch, the ranking rep on the Intelligence Committee, said, quote, "Those Hamas people in Qatar definitely deserve to meet their end." Folks, you killed a Qatari security guy and some civilians. You didn't even really get the whole leadership.
Right. I would assume Hamas is only sending representatives there. You're not even really getting the leadership.
I think, much like previous presidents, the United States president is like unable to control Bibi.
Right.
And
there's never been a president.
You can say what you want about Trump supporting and whatever, but this is clearly Bibi's running the show.
Yeah.
And he's just rubber stamping everything that the Israelis want to do. Here's another clip that talks about Jared Kushner's role in all of this.
Part of Genocide Joe's administration offering more of the same, but they're still operating within norms, decorum. They're predictable. We know exactly what's going to come out of this. Whereas for Trump, it's basically a throw of the dice, and the dice is very much biased and is flipped on a biased territory. He's surrounding himself with pro-Israeli fanatics from head to toe. Mike Huckabee, Miriam Edelson, etc. And it's the lunatic kind of fanatics. It's not the people supporting Israel out of some sort of like transactional interest. It's the people that have it deep within them to see the end of times being hurried up and expedited. And he always listens to the last person in the room. So no matter how many people said that Trump might be transactional, unlike Biden, it was very obvious. The last people in the room will always be the Israelis and the pro-Israelis. There was one time when Trump visited Palestine the first time in 2018, he sat down with Mahmoud Abbas, our president, unfortunately, and he basically told him, they told me that you're a terrorist, but you're a very nice guy, because Abbas offered everything immediately. He compromised on all files. He said, I want a disarmed, demilitarized state with no right of return, with blah, 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 and with maintaining the largest Israeli settlements. Most settlers will stay in the West Bank, land swaps in return. I want NATO to be on the borders between Palestine and Jordan and between Palestine and Israel. American troops will be deployed there. Hamas would no longer exist. So Trump said, okay, I think we have a deal. And Abbas looks to his right and to his left, and he tells his team, I think we solved the conflict. The occupation is over. And Trump even jokingly says, When you get to the land swaps part of the negotiations, call me, because I worked in real estate my entire life. I know how to pick up a good piece of land. I'm going to give you tips and advices. And as soon as Trump walks out of the room, Jared Kushner runs back and pulls Saib Barakat, the chief negotiator at the time that you interviewed many times. And he basically tells him this. He says, forget everything POTUS just told you. You deal with me. You're not dealing with him anymore. And that's the end of it. That's the last time.
And we know how close Jared Kushner and Netanyahu. I always like to remind people, when Jared Kushner was a kid, Benjamin Netanyahu used to stay in his family home with his dad. He used to sleep in Jared's bed, not with Jared in it. Jared slept in the basement, but they would share. They would stay together. That's how close he was. Family friends. So never forget that link between the Netanyahu's and Trump.
This is bonkers.
I can't.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This is where we're at.
Man. Old family friends, huh?
By the way, that was Gaza political analyst Mohammed Shaheda that we were listening to for those clips. I should have said them in the beginning, but tail slate, as they say.
That's a great show.
Wow. I just, this is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So, again, people don't want the conflict to end there. Okay, that's our Israel beat. Now, we've got a little bit on, this is a fun story.
Is it? Do you mean that? Or
I mean, what is fun?
Yeah, what's fun anymore? I'm going to guess it's something along the sweet Russian-Europe border.
Instead of what the fuck, WTF, it's what the fun. That's us now. What the fun?
Yes.
What the fun?
We're trying to use more fun F words.
As Zaddy's all about, FP Zaddy's all about the WTF. Yo, what the fun?
FPZ, WTF. Give us the 411.
All right. So on Tuesday, this week, right, Poland shot down 19 Iranian-made Russian drones.
All right. Okay. So this is Iranians and Russians working together for fun purposes.
This is the one thing my dad never said we were the best at. Okay. He never was like, Iranian drones, best drone.
Right.
But everything else, you know who made the laser? Iran.
Oh.
He said, you know the little table that keeps the pizza from hitting the cheese? Persian guy.
No way.
I don't believe it. I'll never look it up. I will repeat it at parties.
Yeah.
I'll never look it up. Don't fact check me in the comments either. Don't you do it.
Well, I would like to shake that Persian man's hand.
All right. So 19 Iranian-made Russian drones were shot down in Poland that entered its airspace during a large-scale Russian assault on Ukraine, making a serious escalation of the world's spillover effects.
Yeah, that's a different country, Poland.
WTF. In response, Warsaw invoked Article 4 of the NATO treaty. Now, we know Article 4, we've talked about it before. That's when you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
That's right. And Warsaw has saw a lot of war.
And
thank you.
Pause for applause. The move underscores growing alarm along NATO's eastern flank, where Russian provocations have been intensifying. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz denounced the airspace violation as a, quote, reckless and aggressive act. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk told lawmakers that while the country is not on the brink of war, Russia's actions have crossed a dangerous line, bringing Europe closer to open conflict than at any point since World War II.
Right, because up until this point, because Ukraine is not a member of NATO,
correct,
and Finland just joined, but there's no drones over there. This is literally the first time since Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine that the Article 4 has been invoked.
The whole point of NATO doing the Article 4 thing is to create this, peace with deterrence.
Right.
But Putin is clearly just trying to poke and make them do it. Get it, let's go. He'll sacrifice more. He knows it's a war of attrition. And the United States, once the driving force behind NATO's creation in 1949, has taken a step back under Trump.
Of course.
And although the alliance remains rooted in the principles of collective defense, President Harry Truman also envisioned NATO as a shield against aggression and as a means of securing peace through cooperation, contrasting its values with authoritarian models that rely on coercion and force.
So Trump's really throwing Truman under the bus here.
There we go.
Harry Truman is rolling in his grave.
And we all know this came just a few weeks after Putin and Trump's Alaska meeting that, by the way, terrified Carolyn Leavitt.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, I read reports she was mortified after the meeting.
Oh, that's fun. You want your press secretary to be mortified.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God.
He did what?
Because she's kind of like a country club Republican, and
Sure.
so they're all anti-Russia and stuff like that. So
Sure.
this move must have been like, oh God. On Wednesday morning, Trump weighed in on social media with a vague and short reaction to this Poland shooting down these drones. Quote, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones?"
Wait, our president tweeted that?
Yeah.
That's not something you said when you read the news? Our president, that's what he posted on Truth?
That's what he posted.
What's with Russia violating... What?
Yeah.
WTF, man?
What the fun?
That was Trump's reaction.
What the fun?
And he was just like, what's with this?
Oh, God.
What's up with that?
What?
Is this an SNL skit?
What happened?
Oh, my lordy.
I don't understand.
So, okay, so clearly Trump doesn't know.
I mean, it's like he doesn't know, but then he does know, and like, is he just kind of like playing like
Is he playing coy?
Is he playing like?
Whoa, what's up with that?
Lord knows he doesn't read the briefings that he gets every morning.
I know, but then on the like you just said on the last story, he knew that Israel was going to blow up Hamas.
Oh
in
yeah,
Qatar.
because they had to call him and tell him.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I knew that one, but so this one, he's just like, oh, I'll never tell. That's always that's when you know Trump knows something. When he says, I don't know, I actually don't know. You're telling me that for the first time. God. And it's like, I mean, again, back to the North Korea story. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's like he probably did never hear it before, but then also sometimes he's like, I'll never say the answer, but here's the answer.
That's the best.
Here's the exact answer that you're looking for.
All right, so that's we'll be tracking
So that's
that.
bad. Yeah, we got to track that.
That could escalate quickly.
And you were saying your father said about the drones. How does Russia keep getting these Iranian drones? It's just because they're buying them?
Economically, Iran and Russia have been connected for a very long time. The planes in Iran are Russian planes,
the
et cetera.
axis of evil.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever axis you want to like pick these days.
Yeah.
But the thing is, drones are very cheap. And Iran is able to make very cheap drones that you could send over and you know, not as cheap drones. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, again, another example of the Iranian people having to pay for someone else's war and money not going to them in a state where they have just economic collapse that's happening there.
Right.
So, gee, thanks.
Yes, it's going good. It's going good.
What the fun.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and we do have time for the JD Vance Corner.
Oh, boy.
I can't wait. That's going to be some real what the
Fun.
This is the Foreign Report. Travis Irvine, I'm Cena Gazzotti. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm FPZ. This is
Columbia Seps. I think was my...
T-Seps.
Yeah, that's what they call me. Well, Columbia Seps.
Columbia Seps. You want to rep them that much to your biceps?
Well, I didn't bring... I'm wearing my Henry Zabrowski hat today. But, yeah, I'd say, you know.
You're T-Seps. I think T-Seps and FPZ.
Okay.
I feel like we have a Barstool show.
Oh, boy. Well...
What if we get poached by Barstool to be their geopolitics show?
In the manosphere, it would up our cred in the manosphere.
Big time.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who doesn't need any more cred in the manosphere. And that's the worst vice president in history, J.D. Vance. We're back with the J.D. Vance Corner. Give him a chance. He's J.D. Vance. No, wait, he sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about Venezuela earlier, about how Trump was like, yeah, I'm going to bomb that boat.
Yeah.
And Pete Hegseth was like, yeah, that's what we do.
Okay.
And then J.D. Vance was like, guys, me too.
Guys.
I'm the heir to this movement. I will say something.
He is the guy that laughs just a few seconds too late to the joke.
Good one, Cena. Wait, what do you mean? JD joined in on this whole, it's cool to bomb a boat with no due process. And he took to his favorite platform to say these things, and that is X, the platform of the manosphere. And JD, after the Venezuelan boat bombing, said this on X. He said, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. And he said that in defense of course, the military strike on the Venezuelan boat in the Caribbean Sea, which killed alleged 11 drug traffickers. Now, here's the thing. There is still, and you remember this from our Signalgate episodes.
Yeah.
JD and some of the other people in the Republican Party and the administration even don't exactly see eye to eye on anything, much less this. And there was a lot of pushback from fellow Republicans questioning J.D. Vance's judgment in regards to not just this post, but his support of this entire operation. Rand Paul. And we just had John Fugelsang on the show. And John Fugelsang still is my favorite quote about libertarians in the Republican Party. That Rand Paul, libertarians in the Republican Party, they're like broken clocks, or right twice a day.
Yeah.
Here's a point where Rand Paul, who came in, I thought, pretty hot with this. Rand Paul, he's a civil libertarian.
Sure.
He's of that old ilk where he'll work with a Democrat like Ron Wyden from Oregon to curb the NSA.
I was just going to bring up the NSA thing.
Curb the surveillance state. And you have a couple of those left in the House, but Rand Paul, I would say, obviously in the Senate. He called him, JD, I don't give a shit Vance. Because that was JD's response, by the way, when any other Republican on X was kind of coming after him.
Saying that it's a war crime.
Yeah, saying that there's no due process, breaks international law, everything we highlighted in our A block. It's so JD's like response is like, I don't give a shit what you call it. That was his response. So there's a media personality named Brian Krasenstein, who's a social media personality, who responded to JD's post that said, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime.
Yeah.
To which Vance's retort, as any Yale law student would do, I don't give a shit what you call it.
Perfect.
So Rand Paul pops into this whole thing and says, JD, I don't give a shit Vance. That's what Rand Paul calls him. I love that. Good on Rand.
Good on him.
He's a doctor. He knows a dumbass when he sees one. So JD, I don't give a shit Vance says killing people he accuses of a crime is the highest and best use of the military. Did he ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? Did he ever wonder what might happen if the accused were immediately executed without trial or representation? What a despicable and thoughtless sentiment it is to glorify killing someone without a trial. End quote. Rand Paul, Republican senator from Kentucky.
There we go.
And that's just right over the border, by the way, the Ohio River, which is the border between Ohio and Kentucky.
Now I feel bad that someone punched him in the face a while ago. He got a fight with his neighbor.
Oh, with his neighbor. Well, that's a whole different.
He's probably a bad neighbor.
That's a whole different thing. But I like that he invoked a book that JD's probably never read. Which is why I was like, Paul's like, did he ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? I'm going to guess no.
Yep. Skip that one.
Yeah. I mean, you don't write Hillbilly Elegy, after you read To Kill a Mockingbird. And so, it's again, just a situation where JD is just not seeing eye to eye. Yes, he's, kowtowing. He's doing what he's got to do to be the heir apparent to the MAGA movement. But he's already just fracturing so many alliances. He's going to need to become that heir in 2028. And Rand Paul, who again ran against Trump back in 2016 for president in the Republican primary, is clearly one of those guys. It's just like, you know what? JD doesn't really get it here. JD, I don't give a shit Vance. I thought that was that's his new nickname in my book.
Good for him.
But even many people kept going after JD on Twitter there. The Krasenstein fella said that killing people in this way could be classified as an extrajudicial killing under international human rights law, which would potentially expose U.S. officials to responsibility. Again, the Krasenstein is a conservative pundit, social media personality. He goes to Vance. He claps back with, "You will never be president." Yes. This is the thing, man. My new politics is I hate it when Democrats fight, but I love it when Republicans fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to be president.
He's never going to be president. And he goes on. He says, imagine if Venezuela decided to bomb a boat driving from Maryland to New York City, which had 11 Americans and a bunch of drugs in it, or even not, right? What would be your response? JD never gave him a response.
I would go as far, and thank you for that, I would go as far as to say, I don't even think Trump's going to endorse him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, we kind of hinted at that with our last few episodes, right?
Yeah.
Some much needed levity in our show episodes with the Good Liars and John Fugelsang. But, like, I agree. I don't think J.D. Vance has the juice.
No.
And, you know, reactionary. He's a reactionary. And
Yeah.
that's what you do. You immediately go to your social platform. You tweet something that's very problematic, even for people who are supposedly in your base.
Yeah.
And then you get called out for it. And you're just like, well, I don't give a shit. Cool. JD, I don't give a shit, Vance. I hope you don't give a shit if you're actually going to be president next.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you are.
Thank you, Travis, for the JD Vance Corner.
It's good to be back.
ForeignReportShow.com, theforeignreportlpn@gmail.com. Sign up for our newsletter. It's all free for now.
It's going to stay free.
What are we doing? Just sign up for the newsletter. We really love, sending these out every week. Post some comments, please. You know what we should do? Tell your friends about the show.
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of friends who are telling friends about the show. Shout out to my sister.
Yes.
She still likes the show. And again, those
Tell a
nice
friend.
folks in Cincinnati said they really appreciate the show. It was nice to be back home in Ohio for a little bit.
Let's do the Funny Bone in Cincy.
Well, we did Rheingeist Brewery.
Let's
and it
do
was
Rheingeist
still fun.
Brewery.
Also, and I will be doing, coming up with our friend Trey Crowder, I will be doing the Funny Bone in Cincinnati. It is nowhere near Cincinnati. It's in Butler County. It's in Liberty Township. So that's why I always have to remind myself, is like, oh, I'm not going to Cincinnati. I'm going to Butler County.
There we go.
Which is where the sheriff is holding all the immigrants illegally in the county jail.
Yeah.
So Butler County, I'm coming for you, and then I'm getting the hell out of there.
Yeah, very quickly. Guys, crazy week. Hang in there. Don't scream into the box.
No.
Okay?
Talk to each other.
Hug your loved ones.
That too.
I'm Sina Gazanvi, Travis Irvine. This is a Foreign Report. We'll see you next time.